So welcome to the Organic Ministry Project. I'm here today with Kevin Christensen and Sam Pomales. Thanks for joining me here this evening, guys. I really appreciate you taking time out of your schedules. And you guys are both actors with a pretty big project coming up. Tell us about it.
We are getting ready for the Oshkosh Camporee. It's the International Pathfinder Camporee up in Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Have you guys ever been to a camporee before? Were you Pathfinders growing up?
I was actually a Pathfinder, and I went to the camporee that they had 10 years ago.
Joseph?
When it was
What
Joseph.
club were you in?
The Dayton one?
Are you serious? I was in the Dayton one.
You two went to
How did I
Oshkosh
not-
together,
Oh
and you
my-
don't even realize
I
that
didn't
you
even-
were going.
I had no idea. Are you sure you went with the Dayton area Eagle
I went-
Pathfinders?
Yeah, I did, because we had a couple French friends of mine that came and they joined us. And
What?
They went, yeah.
Nonsense.
Yeah,
This is a lie.
Now, I know every camporee has a theme. What is this year's theme?
Daniel.
Really?
Yeah, the entire life of Daniel, from the capture all the way to the lion's den.
Okay.
Yeah, and a little beyond.
Daniel's a great story and really appropriate for today. A teen trying to stay true to his faith while still trying to be part of a culture that's pulling him away from God. There's also a lot of characters in Daniel. Kevin, what's your role?
And I'm Ashpenaz, and Ashpenaz is the head of the palace staff. So when they bring over all the captives into Babylon, he's the one that oversees the program. So when Daniel and his friends want to change their diet, Ashpenaz is the guy that they talk to. When they get their names changed to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, Ashpenaz is the one who changes their names.
Wow, that's a pretty key role to the story of Daniel, and a pretty important person, too.
Not as important as this guy.
I don't know.
So, Sam, what's your role?
Daniel.
You're Daniel. I'm sure it's quite a process to go through to try and get those roles. Can you tell us a little bit about what you had to do to get your parts?
I was talking to a friend of mine that was at Southern, and he told me, yeah, they're down here doing auditions for Oshkosh this summer. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. I was like, tell them about me. I'd love to do it. That'd be cool. So he talked to them, and they said, yeah, we've got our website. You can go there. You can look at the audition, the scripts on there, and make a video and send it in. So I looked on there, and I thought, okay, well, I'll do a couple to kind of show, my diversity in acting skills. And so I did one that they had 2 for guys and 2 for girls.
Wait, Kevin, please don't tell me that you read one of the girls' parts as your audition.
So actually, I did. I picked one of the girls. I was like, there's other people trying out for this. You got to stand out. So I was like, if they're seeing time and time again of like, my grandmother's going, just got more serious.
Whoa.
Yeah. Like my grandmother's going, they're going to see the same thing. I was like, how many other guys are going to pick a chick script and do it, from a guy's perspective?
Yeah.
So I picked one that was about, this girl's talking about how she rates movies. And she has not the G, PG, PG-13R system. She has the number of tears that come down her cheek. And I was like, all right, I've seen some of those war movies that at the end you're like, I'm not gonna cry, but that was so American. Like, and so I was like, I think it'd be kind of funny to do that from that perspective. So, it's this guy that's talking about, here's how I rate, okay, my 2-tier system. I'm sitting there and I'm watching. And, I start having a little something, tearing up, but I'm looking around to make sure all my, and so I just did it from a guy's perspective to kind of do something different. So I did those and sent them in.
So, Sam, I assume that you had a similar experience with your auditioning, sending in a tape and everything. Tell us a little bit about your experience.
I get this email from the current director at the time, saying, hey, love the video, it was awesome. Would you be able to come down to Nashville? The writers want to meet you. And I was floored. I personally, when I first went into it, you have hopes, you really hope that you get to do something like that. But at least I didn't think that I would necessarily make the cut. And to get, to go down there and meet the people, I was floored. So I talked to my place that I was working, and I got some time off, and so I went down and met the writer and the composer. Did a 30-minute live audition, and so the composer and the writer and the director at the time left and talked, conversed, and they came back and they're like, we would like you to be Daniel.
So, Kevin, most people don't know who Ashpenaz is in the Bible. When you got your part, did you know who he was?
Like, I went to Google and was like, Ashpenaz, Bible, go, to figure out, like, who is this guy? And he didn't seem like he had that big of a role in there, but you never know with writing. And when I talked to a friend of mine who actually knew the writer himself, my friend told me, oh, yeah, I talked to him, and it's really big part and everything.
But Ashpenaz plays a pretty significant role in the story of Daniel, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's the guy that when they have the kind of foreign exchange program, shall we say?
Yeah.
It wasn't particularly optional. And they brought in, Azariah, Mishael,
Right.
and Hananiah, Daniel, into the group that they were going to integrate into Babylonian society and make them the leaders. He was the one that was over top of that whole program, and he's the one that changes their names to Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego. And
My name never got changed. I mean, like, it got both a Shazar, but no one ever like treated it as an actual name.
So Ashpenaz is the warden / jailkeeper guy, right?
Okay, jailkeeper, they're not slaves.
Yeah.
And he makes a point to talk about the fact that they're not
They're
slaves.
not like a big
Even though if they flunk out of the program, they die.
Yeah, well, I mean...
lip balm.
You're here
Sir.
of your own free will until you leave, and then we kill you.
Right, it's like Hunger Games.
Yeah.
So what can you tell us about the script and what people can expect over the course of 5 nights for this drama?
The writers did a fantastic job between the music and just the script and, taking something that is such a serious part of our history, because we tend to associate it so much with, that's Jewish history, or that's just, stories from kindergarten, cradle roll. But this is our history. This is still the same God that we serve.
Right.
And this, to take a story that is so serious and so amazing of the compilation of stories that make up Daniel's life, that we kind of tend to separate, I think, because we, hear them a piece at a time. But, I mean, to live through, the invasion and going to Babylon, to live through, his friends being thrown in the fiery furnace, the lion's den, I mean, to survive through multiple kings, including Darius coming in there, and, we don't really talk about that part, but, he was wiping people out before he happened to, pick up Daniel, and Daniel stayed through all of that. He has such an amazing life, and yet the writers, can still make it funny and make it fun and make music that you want to listen to.
And like you said, the way that the writers wrote the script is fantastic. They even integrate things into the story, into the plot that kind of get left out by the Bible, which may or may not be true. They're obviously fictional, but they kind of fill in gaps, like where was Daniel when Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego?
Yeah, right.
And they fill in that gap, and they.
And how is it that Darius, like, why doesn't Darius just kill this dude when he comes in here and is taking out?
Why does he embrace him like he does?
Yeah.
So
and even they go even farther than Daniel at the lion's den, into some other more unknown parts of Daniel. They don't go as deep into it as they do with the other stories, but they give hints and they kind of leave questions in kids' minds, which is awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you brought up the whole filling in the blanks piece of the script writing process. I know it's something that we've talked about a lot recently in my youth group, with the Noah movie that came out that stirred up so much controversy, and then the Son of God movie, and then this winter we have the Exodus movie with Christian Bale and some others. And I know a lot of people got really upset with some of the creative liberties that were taken with those movies. And I've heard that there are people who will get up and leave during the dramas at the Camporees as well because they don't like some of the stuff that goes on. Knowing that that sort of thing happens, how does that affect the creative process that goes into creating a drama like this?
There's a lot of things that the writers would love to do with the story.
Right.
But it's completely shot down because there's so many people there, and the kind of people are so vast.
Yeah.
That they have to be really careful of offending people. It's a reality.
Now, there's a lot of people who think that dramas, movies, etc., are of the devil and shouldn't be used for teaching the Bible. How do you respond to those people?
Everyone's entitled to their views, and to me, it's like the world has stories, and people like Kevin and I, it's our passion, it's our desire, it's our role in life to somehow portray those stories.
And what about Christian fiction where the stories aren't necessarily taken from Scripture?
I think that the drama is really just a modern day parable, and when Jesus told his stories, he used stories that were not real. They were based in reality. They were things that people at the time could relate to. When he talks about farmers planting seeds, when he talks about just other things that people could relate to, it was taking scenarios that are happening in that day, in that time, and drawing analogies, drawing things that people can learn from them. And I think that that's really what drama is doing. I don't see it as that much different than a modern day parable.
All right, that's a good way to put it.
So what do you say to people who are gung-ho the opposite direction, saying, this is 2014, we really got to push the envelope creatively in order to be able to spread the gospel effectively to a modern, contemporary culture?
We should be bold in what we believe, but we also have to be sensitive to what other people, believe at the same time, because there is no improvement in offending somebody. You're not going to convince somebody that you're right if you shove, your personal beliefs in their face. And that works both ways. For the most conservative and for the most liberal views, you have to kind of meet in the center.
So I'm not going to be able to make it up there, and I know that all the tickets are sold out, and there's a lot of people who are still going to want to be able to see what's going on. Is there a way for people to be able to check out what's going on up at the Camporee?
Yeah, on Hope Television.
So it'll be and it'll be online as well.
Yeah.
And,
So, is it going to be live streamed or is it going to be pre-recorded and edited? Do you know that?
No, it's live.
Well, that's all the time we have for today.
So thanks, guys, for taking the time to stop by and hang out with me and talk about the projects and everything that you're working on up at Oshkosh. Sounds like a lot of fun, and we'll make sure that we get people tuned in to watch it. I know I'll check it out on Hope Channel. So check us out for more stuff on the Organic Ministry and organicministryproject.com. You can also check us out on Facebook and Twitter. And we'll hopefully have more stuff out there that you'll be interested in. Thanks a lot.
Said I can mean it. Said I can mean it. Said I can mean it. But I still don't believe it.
If I was Christian Bale, I'd totally be like, just one cut and let me say it. Let me say it.
Yeah.
All right, Moses.
I'm Moses. Pharaoh. Can we trust him?